In this box is the subject of today's video, so let's just crack into it. So inside this box are the Staebies V2 Stabilizers by AEBoards. You might be wondering to yourself, what does that mean? What are they? Well, let's talk about it. Staebies were designed by Zambunmon. The whole point of Staebies was to address a frustration that we have with normal stabilizers for keyboards, in that they are too loose. Staebies addresses this by actually tightening the tolerances between the housing opening and the stem. The hope is that it's going to reduce the amount of time taken to modify and make it sound good. Inside, we have the wires, the actual housings and such like that, and the stems too. And then finally, we have the mounting hardware. So I like how they've separated all of the things you need out. As well as that, they give you options for 7U as well as 6.25U, which is like standard spacebar size. They give you like 5 different 2U stabilizers for everything else. That means your shift key, your enter key, your backspace key, etc. What I wanted to do was bring in my QK65. My QK65 has the Owlab V2 Stabilizers inside, and I actually wanted to get a closer look and show you it installed here now. They sound relatively decent. So as you can hear from the stabilizers here, they sound good. In fact, there is a few ticking issues that I've had with the spacebar here more specifically, but I've tuned the other 2U stabilizers pretty damn well. And that's why I bought the Staebies. Alright, this next step I'm not going to recommend, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the easiest way to separate your switches out from your plate is by doing the following. Don't try this at home. Don't do this. Don't ever do this. You could damage your PCB, you could damage your plate, but I've done it so many times and I've tested it so many times that it's fine. Just don't do it. I'm not recommending it. Now, as far as I know, there's these 2 holes on the actual stem itself that line up with the hole in the back. I am having a hard time just pressing in the stabilizer wire to the housing. One thing I have to point out here is just how incredibly smooth that bottom is for the feet and the actual bottom of the stabilizer housing itself. You don't have to clip anything here. It's just all flat. It's perfect in my opinion. Just to be aware, you will need a hex 1.5 to screw in the Staebies. Now, I'm just gonna do this kind of stock with no plate, just straight PCB. I want to hear how this sounds. Hello, Editor Rob here. I actually forgot to record my first impression of what these sounded like stock, so let me give it to you now. It's scratchy, and it needs lubing. The whole point of lubing something is to reduce the amount of friction between the moving parts. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm actually going to use my Krytox 205G0 syringe and just go in and fill the areas that need to be filled in. Already, that is a marked improvement over the Owlab V2 stabs that I'm hearing. That's what it sounds like with an ALU plate, no foam. Now we have our POM plate on. I want to just hear how it sounds with the POM plate. Now put PE foam on the PCB. Now let's hear what it sounds like with PE foam. And now there's PCB foam in the keyboard. Hopefully with these sound tests, it gives you a bit of perspective to the kind of sound profiles that I like. At the end of the day, this hobby is just full of people that prefer different things, and this configuration in front of you is what I prefer. You could probably tell that I don't have a script for this particular section of the video, but if you do like this kind of unscripted video style, do let me know in the comments down below, because I like to experiment with the different kinds of content I like to make. I just recorded this the same day I actually got them in. So now that I have it all fully built, I'm gonna do an A/B sound test so that you can hear the difference between the Owlab V2 Stabs and the Staebies. So those are my initial thoughts and impressions with the Staebies stock and lubed. Honestly, for a little bit more effort, you really don't have to do much to the Staebies to make them sound good. These sound amazing. I didn't have to do any wire balancing. I didn't have to do any holy mod. I didn't have to do any clippings. It just sounds good. But let's talk pricing. The Staebies are about £25. Now that price may vary in your region, but I got them from KeepGats and I actually paid for them in full. I'm an affiliate with them. You can use offer code OYITSROB off your first purchase of £10 and get 10% off. I wanted to just buy them so that I have like that direct customer experience, so I'm not swayed by any external factor. I know that the testing done here is quite rudimentary and I wanted to just have the PCB, the foams and the plates just bare so you had an idea of what it sounded like without any of the extra acoustics from the case. My desk, my microphone setup, your headphones are all going to be completely unique and different, so that may sound different to you and the way that you hear the sound differences. I really want to have Staebies in all of my keyboards going forward. That's going to be like £25 every single time that I want to do that. Let me know what you think in the comment section right below that like button and hit subscribe so that you stay up to date to when I post videos on more keyboard content. Anyways, have a fun one.